If you're a video editor or graphic designer, should you go with the thin and light all aluminum color accurate 4K MSI Prestige 15 or go with the powerful large screen RGB lit masterpiece of the Asus G17?
Let's get rockin'!
If you're new to the channel, my name is Benji Kaiser. This is where you're going to find the best tech and tools for creative professionals. If you're curious about the exact pricing of either of these models, you can head down into the description below and click one of those links. Now, if you do make a purchase through that link, I will get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you, and that's what keeps this channel alive and the helpful content coming your way. Also, if you want to get a discount on either one of these laptops, you can head on over to Computer Upgrade Kings and use the discount code BEN3, where you can get a discount code on one of these laptops or any other laptop on their website. This unlikely matchup is not actually too far off when deciding between these two laptops. How is that, you might ask, with the varying spec differences and even size? It's all about the price when it comes down to this head-to-head review. With the Asus ROG Strix G17, you will get higher performance specs, a larger screen, and stunning RGB lighting accents. The ROG Strix G17 comes with the Intel 10th Gen Core i7-10750H, with 6 cores and 12 threads, the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2070 with 8 gigs of GDDR6 VRAM, 64 gigs of DDR4 RAM, and 2 terabytes of NVMe SSD storage. While the MSI Prestige 15 provides you with exceptionally better color accuracy, an all aluminum thin and light chassis, quiet fans and cool thermals, as well as a large trackpad. The MSI Prestige 15 is equipped with the 10th Gen Core i7-10710U with 6 cores and 12 threads, the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1650 Max-Q with 4 gigs of GDDR5 VRAM, 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM upgradable to 64 gigs, and a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD. Hang tight for the benchmark test because I think you'll be surprised at how well paired this head-to-head battle really is in certain categories, and you'll be glad you stayed on to the video. Kicking things off with the build quality, as discussed in the intro, the MSI comes with an all aluminum build, whereas the G17 is all plastic. They both have strong hinge configurations that open and close smoothly with only a slight bit of screen flex between the hinges. For video editing, the G17's massive Full HD screen is certainly a big advantage. However, it is not as bright and color accurate as the MSI Prestige 15's 4K screen. The MSI Prestige 15 comes with a 4K matte display with a 60Hz refresh rate that can reach 425 nits at full brightness and a color gamut range of 100% sRGB, 100% Adobe RGB, and 94% DCI-P3, all at an average delta E of 0.96, whereas the G17 comes with a full HD matte display with a 144Hz refresh rate and 3 milliseconds of response time that can reach 325 nits at full brightness and a color gamut range of 98% sRGB, 75% Adobe RGB, and 75% DCI-P3 at an average delta E of 1.95, which honestly for this screen is a pretty excellent benchmark. So the G17 is not as color accurate as the MSI, but it is no slouch. Things take a slight turn for the worse for the G17 when we consider the on-the-go capabilities of the two laptops. The MSI is definitely the winner here, weighing in at 3.64 pounds at a thickness of 0.64 inches. On top of that, the 82 watt-hour battery can provide around 7 to 8 hours of web browsing battery life and 4 to 5 hours of design and video editing battery life, whereas the G17 weighs in at 6.02 pounds at a thickness of 1.02 inches, which isn't terrible, but it can only provide roughly 4 to 5 hours of web browsing battery life and 2 to 3 hours of design and video editing battery life out of the 66 watt-hour battery. The MSI Prestige comes with a built-in 720p webcam, whereas the Strix G17 does not. Heading down to the keyboard, you will find a more expansive keyboard with the numpad on the G17 and a basic keyboard on the Prestige 15. Both laptops have a soft, snappy key press. The G17 has a slightly longer key travel compared to the MSI, so if you're someone that leans towards more mechanical style keyboards, you will favor the G17 over the Prestige 15. The trackpad choice creates quite a bit of diversity. You have the all-in-one trackpad on the Prestige 15 that is large, quiet, and feels great with the click and touch sensitivity. However, I must say when designing, I sometimes dislike the all-in-one trackpad. Depending on the design or video editing project I'm working on, it can often be more effective to have dedicated left and right click buttons over the built-in ones. So although the trackpad is nice and big on the Prestige 15, I'm going to give this a tiebreaker and leave it up to your preferences. If you're enjoying this video and getting some value, gently press down on that like button and let me know how you plan on using this laptop or either of these laptops by dropping a comment below. If you want more content like this in the future, then make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. Okay, let's get back into the video. Now, before we get into the benchmark test, let's take a look at the port selection of each of these laptops. As I always like to tell people, what kind of ports do you need? What do you use the ports for on your day-to-day workflow? That's how you should be looking at these two laptops. Not what are the most fancy, newest, best ports, but okay, what do I use? What do I need? Go for it that way. You know what components these two laptops are equipped with, so let's dive right into the benchmarks. I know a lot of you have requested thermal, noise, and component usage, so before we check out the video editing, Photoshop, and 3D modeling benchmarks, let's get into these first. The MSI Prestige is very quiet, and it slightly kicks on the fans here and there for a 37 decibel fan noise. Whereas during Photoshop benchmarking, we only got up to about 42 decibels, and the 4K to 4K export out of Premiere Pro was 46 decibels, with DaVinci Resolve 4K to 4K export at 46 decibels as well. The Asus G17 is not as quiet. It constantly has the fan on at about 37 decibels. During the Photoshop benchmark, we get up to 57 decibels. During the Premiere Pro 4K to 4K export, 56 decibels. And same thing for the DaVinci Resolve, we kicked up to about 58 decibels. And now for the thermal and component usage results. As you can see by the test, both laptops run at cool temperatures. However, the G17 takes a lot more fan power to keep it at those temperatures. Concerning the component usage, we are seeing pretty similar results as well. So now it's on to the benchmarking results to see which computer is faster. The G17 takes the crown for Geekbench single-core and multi-core performance. The Prestige just doesn't have the oomph to get up into the mid to high-end range on my charts due to the lower TDP of 15 watts on that processor. We see the same thing in Cinebench R20. However, things take a turn towards the Prestige 15 when we get into the 4K exports, so hang tight as we work our way through these tests. The G17 also captures another ribbon if you're considering one of these laptops for 3D modeling or motion design. Here are the benchmarks for those tests. Okay, now that the Prestige 15 feels like a small child, it's time to redeem the spirits and look at the most important tests in my personal day-to-day workflow, the 4K video editing exports out of Premiere Pro and DaVinci Resolve. So for this test, we're going to take a 9-minute 4K clip, put it into these programs, and export it out at 1080p and 4K YouTube settings. For the MSI Premiere Pro 4K to 4K export, it can export that clip in 4 minutes and 34 seconds, whereas the Asus can export that same clip in 2 minutes and 49 seconds. So the MSI Prestige 15 with its slower CPU, GPU, and RAM was still able to come in behind the G17 at only about a minute and 30 seconds slower. Really impressed by this thin and light warrior. Not only was it barely slower, but it is also far quieter during the export process. Now on to the DaVinci Resolve export. For the MSI DaVinci Resolve export 4K to 4K, it was 17 minutes and 35 seconds. And for the Asus DaVinci Resolve 4K to 4K export, we saw a 9-minute and 47-second export time. DaVinci Resolve was a bit of a different story, but still not too shabby compared to some of the other models on the chart. Now for the 4K to 1080p export, the MSI was able to export out of Premiere Pro in 1 minute and 23 seconds, and the Asus was able to export out of Premiere Pro to 1080p in 56 seconds. For DaVinci Resolve 4K to 1080p for the MSI, out of DaVinci Resolve was 9 minutes and 47 seconds, and for the Asus, it was 4 minutes and 11 seconds. Concerning playback in Premiere Pro, the Asus Strix G17 was able to accomplish full quality 4K playback in the timeline of a 9-minute project with a total of 16,177 frames, including 7,240 motion design frames, with 0 dropped frames. Whereas the MSI Prestige 15 was able to accomplish 0 dropped frames at 4th quality, 24 dropped frames at half quality, and 5,066 dropped frames at full quality. The Prestige 15 is able to deliver a seamless editing experience, but only at 4th quality playback. All right, now moving on to the designer and photo editor benchmark test. For all of you out there, I used the Photoshop benchmark in Puget Systems to see how well a laptop can handle the most intensive tool in Adobe's design suite. If a laptop can perform well in Photoshop, it will handle InDesign and Illustrator with ease. The MSI Puget Photoshop score came in at 577, and the Asus Puget Photoshop score came in at 679. With the Asus Prestige coming in only 100 points behind the Strix G, I must say I'm still impressed by this little machine. Okay, so if you're deciding between these two laptops, which one should you buy? The Strix G17 is definitely a powerhouse considering its ability to dominate every benchmark test at superior speed over any other laptop I have had on my channel. It even has great thermals and solid color accuracy. The color accuracy was a surprise to me, being that this laptop is built for gaming. The Strix G17 is great, but it is a little heavy, does not have the best battery life, and becomes quite noisy on the benchmark tests. For nearly the same cost, you can get a thin and light all-aluminum laptop that keeps up in Photoshop and the Adobe Design Suite, is no slouch in Premiere Pro, and has nearly perfect color gamut range. The laptop also runs quiet and cool, but I must say if you are looking to get into 3D modeling or serious motion design, I wouldn't steer you towards the MSI Prestige 15. It just doesn't have the power that I'm confident recommending. So here's my 2 cents. If you want a powerhouse laptop and you're not only concerned about color accuracy, your laptop mainly sits on your desk and you don't travel much, plus you are someone who likes to blow off a little steam by gaming, the clear choice is the G17. However, if you want an on-the-go laptop that is highly color accurate, has great design and video editing performance, and runs quiet and cool, then I would steer you towards the all-aluminum MSI Prestige 15. If you're curious about the exact prices or you're ready to purchase either of these models, you can head down into the description below and click one of those links. Remember, if you do make a purchase, I will get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you, and that's what keeps this channel alive and the helpful content coming your way. Also, don't forget about that discount code BEN3 if you want to get a discount on any of these models over on Computer Upgrade Kings. If you want to watch more videos about the MSI Prestige 15 or the Strix G17, you can click or tap the screen here. Otherwise, keep editing, keep designing, keep creating. I'm Benji Kaiser, and I will see you here in the next video.